everybody and welcome to Rocco Baby Crochet. A huge warm welcome back to all my regular viewers and subscribers. It's lovely to have you here and thank you for supporting the channel. A massive warm welcome to anybody who's just found the channel for the first time. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Stick around and consider subscribing, which will mean that you won't miss out on my next free pattern or tutorial, and it will also support Rocco Baby Crochet as well. Today's stitch tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this gorgeous diagonal raised treble crochet stitch. Now please don't forget that I use UK terminology, so in the US that would be the diagonal raised double crochet. It's a really simple stitch once you get into the swing of things, and it's comprised of using front post and back post treble crochets, or for my US friends, front post and back post double crochets. So grab yourself a cuppa, your yarn and your hooks, and let's learn this stitch together. To begin, you're going to want to make yourself a slip knot and pop that onto your hook. The foundation for this stitch is going to be in multiples of 4, so I'm just going to do a small sample here today just to show you the stitch pattern, and I'm going to chain 20, but please feel free to chain as many multiples of 4 as you need to get to the width of a project that you're making. So you're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So I've just done 4 chains, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. For row 1 we're going to start in the 4th chain from the hook. Now feel free, if you want to go into your chain stitches from the front, you're going to count down 4 V's, and it's into that 4th chain along from the hook where you're going to place your first stitch. I prefer to turn my chains over and work into the bumps that run down the centre of the chain. Each of those bumps running along the back is a chain, so I'm going to count down 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's into that 4th one that I'm going to place my first treble crochet. Please don't forget I use UK terminology, so in the US they are a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the 4th chain from the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook at this point. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's a UK treble crochet or US double crochet. You're then going to work your way along the whole of the chain, placing 1 UK treble crochet in every chain along. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into your next chain and place another treble crochet. If you need some support in doing these stitches, I'll leave the links to those videos in the description of this tutorial. This tutorial is more about showing you the diagonal raised stitch. So make your way along the length of your chain, placing 1 treble crochet in every stitch along, and come back to me when you're ready to move up to row 2. I'm just at my very last chain of row 1 and I'm placing my last treble crochet into that chain there. And then to move up to row 2, what you want to do is chain 2 and turn your work. Now the chain 2 and these chains here at the beginning of row 1 count as a stitch now and throughout this pattern. So every chain 2 you do to get up to your next row will count as your very first treble crochet. So we've got our first stitch there, so we're going to move into our second stitch, and what we want to do here is we're going to do a front post treble crochet. So you're going to do a front post treble, you're going to yarn over and drop your hook around the front of your work and insert your hook from front to back and from back out to the front around that post of the treble crochet from row 1. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then you'll just finish your front post treble crochet in exactly the same way by yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. And then we're going to do exactly the same in the next stitch along. We're going to place another front post treble crochet. So I'm going to yarn over from the front, wrap my hook around the post of that treble crochet, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Next, what we want to do is a back post treble crochet. So to do the back post treble, you're going to yarn over and drop your hook around the back of your work and pop your hook out from back to front around that post and then back out around the back. So you're going around the post but from the back of your work. And then you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So again, you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then in the next stitch along, you're going to do another back post treble crochet. So again, you're going to yarn over, drop your hook around the back, around the post and back out the back of your work, yarn over and pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just going to repeat that all the way across for row 1. So my next 2 stitches, I'm going to place 1 front post treble crochet around both of those. So I'm yarning over, drop my hook around the front, around that post, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over again, go around that post from the front and place my second front post treble. The next 2 stitches are going to be back post trebles, so you'll yarn over, go around the post but from the back of your work and pull up a loop. Oops, my yarn's just split. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. The back post ones are a little bit more fiddly than the front post ones, so just have a little patience if this is the first time you're doing these stitches. So yarn over again, drop my hook around the back of my work, around that post and back out the back, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. My next 2 stitches are going to be front post, so yarn over, drop my hook around the front of the work, round that post and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Another front post, treble and then 2 back post trebles. So I'm going to yarn over, drop my hook around the back of my work, around that post, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then 2 front post. So yarning over around the post from the front, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Repeat that for my next stitch along. And your last 2 stitches of row 1 before you reach your chains should be back post trebles. So we're going to yarn over and place a back post around each of those. So if you need to pause this video if your project is a lot wider than mine, because like I said, this is just a small sample. And your very last stitch, we're going to pop in the top of those 3 chains that we skipped right at the beginning of row 1. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook into that top chain. So you should have 3 of them. You're placing it in the top one, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we'll finish every row like that by placing a regular treble crochet into the top of the chains from the row below. So to move up to row 3, what we want to do is we're going to chain 2, and don't forget that counts as our very first stitch, so we're not going to put anything else into the top of this stitch or around the post of it. We're going to move on to the second stitch. So around this second stitch here, we're going to begin by placing a front post treble crochet. So yarning over, dropping around the front, wrap your hook around the post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The next 2 stitches along, we're going to place a back post treble crochet around both of those. So yarn over, going around the back of my work, wrap around that post and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and exactly the same in the next stitch. Next 2 stitches are front posts, one and 2, and my next 2 stitches I'm going to place back post treble crochets around those 2. So there's my first one, and there's my second one. My next 2 stitches I am going to be placing front post treble crochets, and you just alternate that all the way across. So 2 front post treble crochets followed by 2 back posts, then 2 front posts, then 2 back post. So I'm just on to my 2 back post ones now. So there's my first, and there's my second. Next 2 are going to be front post trebles. There's my first, there's my second. My next 2 are going to be back post trebles. There's my first, there's my second. If your piece of work is longer than mine, carry on repeating that, alternating 2 front post and then 2 back post treble crochets all the way along. And when you get to your last 2 stitches, so that'll be your last treble crochet and your chain 2 from the previous round, you're gonna end row 3 on a front post treble crochet, and then a regular treble crochet in the top of your chain 2 from row 2. To move up to row 4, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Don't forget this chain 2 counts as a stitch, so we're not going to put anything else into this first stitch here. We're going to move on to the second stitch, and row 4 we're going to start with the back post treble crochets, yarning over, dropping my hook around the back of my work, around that post and back out, yarn over, pull up a loop, just split my yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then into the next stitch we're going to do another back post. So again, dropping my hook around the back, wrapping it around the post and placing a treble. And then the next 2 are going to be front posts, so yarning over, dropping my hook around the front, around that post, and placing a front post treble, and then a second one. And then around my next 2 stitches I'm going to place 1 front post treble around both of those. So yarning over, dropping my hook around the front, around that post, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and repeat that for the next stitch along. And then we're just going to alternate that all the way across for row 4. So my next 2 stitches I want to work a back post treble crochet around both of those. So there's my first one, and there's my second one. Next 2 stitches are front post treble crochets, and please don't forget there are videos to learn these stitches in more depth. I just wanted to show you how to do the diagonal raised pattern on this video. So if you do need a bit more support on how to do your front post and your back post stitches, then please check those videos out. My next 2 stitches are going to be back post trebles. There's my first one, and there's my second one. Then my next 2 stitches are both going to be front post trebles, 1 and 2. My next 2 stitches are both going to be back post trebles. So there's 1, and there's my second one. And you should be finishing row 4 with 2 front post trebles, followed by a regular treble crochet in the top of your chain 2. So there's my second front post, and then you're just going to place your regular treble crochet in the top of your chain 2 from the row below. To move up to row 5, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. You should be able to start seeing that diagonal line just starting to form there now. So around this second stitch here, we're going to place a back post treble crochet. So yarning over, wrapping around that post from the back of my work, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pull through 2, yarning over, pull through 2. And then around the next 2 stitches, I'm going to place one front post treble around each of those. So there's my first front post treble, and there's my second front post treble. Around the next 2 stitches, I'm going to place one back post treble around each of those, and now we're doing the alternate 2 front posts, 2 back posts all the way across until we come to almost the end. So that's my second back post. So next I need to do 2 front posts, so there's 1 and there's 2. Next I'm doing 2 back post trebles, so there's 1 and there's 2, followed by 2 front post trebles, 1 and 2, 2 back post trebles, 1 and 2, 2 front post trebles, and if your piece of work is wider than mine, continue alternating 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back post treble crochets until you get to your very last 2 stitches. So around your last official treble crochet, you're going to be placing a back post treble crochet around there, and then you're going to be placing a regular treble crochet in the top of your chain 2 from the row below. To move up to row 6, and this is the last row in the row repeat, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. Again, we're skipping this first stitch as our chain 2's counting as our very first stitch, and we're moving to our second stitch. Around that stitch you're going to place a front post treble crochet and a front post treble crochet around the very next stitch as well. Then around the next 2 stitches you're going to place one back post treble crochet around each of those. So there's 1 and there's 2, and we're going to alternate that all the way across for row 6. So I've got 1 front post treble crochet now over the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2, and then 1 back post treble crochet around the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and there's 2, 1 front post treble crochet around the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and there's 2. The next 2 stitches I'm going to place 1 back post treble crochet around each of those, 1 and 2. Then I'm doing my 2 front post treble crochets, 1 and 2. And you should be finishing row 6 with 2 back post treble crochets, so you might need to do more repetitions of that than I have to for my small sample piece, but you should be finishing on 2 back post treble crochets followed by your regular treble crochet into the top of your chain 2 from row 5. And that's how simple this pattern is, and it makes such a lovely texture. So all you're going to do to build your project in height is repeat rows 3, 4, 5 and 6 over and over and over for as long as you want your project to be. And remember, when you're looking at the width of your project, to make sure that it's a multiple of 4. So I told you this was a really quick one, and it's a really fun stitch. It creates a beautiful texture. If you've had fun and enjoyed this tutorial, then please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, meaning that you won't miss out on my next tutorial, and it also supports the channel as well. So take care, happy hooking, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!